Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Miss Michelle here at Pasadena Humane, and I am joined by Miss Izzie. How are you today?
Hey, Miss Michelle. I am doing awesome. I'm super excited for today's story and our special guests.
I'm so excited. We've got a great story based on a real life dog, and the dog is based out of Texas. Um, Miss Izzie is going to go over our webinar reminders for us, and then I'll start reading the story.
Very cool. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty. So, let me go off camera for a sec and let us start. So, welcome to our webinar, our story time. Just a reminder that all attendees are automatically muted, so you can hear and see us, but we cannot hear and see you. Because of that reason, we are asking that you please use the chat box over in the window. Please don't raise your hand. We won't be able to see you. But if you go ahead and type in that question, we'll be able to get to you. And today we will be reading Diggy the Dog Explores Friendship, written by Adam Loveless, illustrated by Elena Kochetova. And there we go. Just as a reminder, we are having a free kids webinar coming up September 15th at 3:30. It's going to be our wildlife and watercolors series. This is going to be lizards and squirrels. It's going to be a lot of fun. And please go ahead and check out our Kids for Animals at Home over at pasadenahumane.org/kids. We have a whole bunch of age appropriate activities, whether they be veterinary health, animal behavior, or even just general pet care, and a whole bunch more webinars that you might find to be interesting. And if for any reason you do have to leave today's webinar before our end time, don't fret. We will be recording this and be able to send it out to your email so you can catch up on all the fun you may have missed. All right, and without further ado, we're going ahead and take it away, Miss Michelle.
Thank you so much, Miss Izzie. Today, as Miss Izzie said, we are going to read Diggy the Dog Explores Friendship. It is written by Adam Loveless and illustrated by Elena Kochetova. Okay, so there's a nice picture of the cover. And here we go. Diggy the dog lived on a farm with his mom and pop in a big red barn. His home sat on top of the highest hill with land, animals, and a red windmill. So he's got some cows and chickens and sheep that he lives with as well. The farm was surrounded by a big blue stream and hundreds of trees, more than one could dream. It was here that Diggy loved to explore the endless animals, plants, rocks, and more. But one day, when Diggy had gone to explore, he went further than he had ever been before. He came across an old wooden bridge with a few missing boards and some light damage. Oh, there's a few boards missing and it doesn't look very safe. Diggy looked around. Not a soul was in sight. A smile formed. He could not hide his delight. With a cautious look, he stepped on the wood. It creaked and cracked. So quietly he stood. The water was rushing beneath his paws, and the planks were swaying like tiny seesaws. The bridge wouldn't last. What could Diggy do? He didn't have long, maybe a second or two. Without missing a beat, Diggy leapt off the plank as high as he could, aiming for the nearby bank. As he touched solid ground, glad to be okay, the bridge collapsed and was swept away. Oh my goodness, I am so glad that Diggy made it across without getting swept into the river. Diggy looked across the river, anxious and scared. He couldn't make that jump. And the swimming, he didn't dare. But Diggy could run. It's what he does best. So he ran down the river without stopping to rest. After a long while, he still could not cross, and that's when Diggy started feeling at a loss. How would he ever cross this rapid river? The thought scared him. It gave him a shiver. Whew! Certainly not like the ducks that can swim. Or this little guy here. But at that moment, there was a rustle close by. Diggy looked over the bank and saw, to his surprise, a small, furry creature with teeth as large as can be, chewing and gnawing on a large chunk of tree. Help me! Help me! The bridge fell down. I cannot cross the river, and I can't go around. The beaver turned to Diggy and looked over the pile and immediately gave him a great big smile. I'm Bucky the Beaver, and constructing is what I do. All I need is wood, and I can build anything for you. A new bridge, a new boat, even an oar. The only problem is it will take a day, maybe more. Oh boy, it's a talented beaver. Diggy thanked Bucky. His offer was kind, but he couldn't wait that long. He didn't have the time. Bucky smiled and said, I fully understand. I would try the forest. That might be your best plan. And the forest was dark, with trees all around, and that's when Diggy heard a very strange sound. Funk, funk, funk. It was fast approaching, louder and louder. Something was definitely encroaching. Diggy saw a dark figure. It looked like a tree, but it was coming right towards him. How could that be? The closer it got, the more Diggy made out. It looked like an animal stumbling about. Oh goodness, Diggy looks so scared. I wonder what's coming in the forest. Help me, help me. My situation is bad. I need to get home to my mom and dad. The creature quickly stopped and lowered its head. Face to face with Diggy, this is what it said. Hello there, friend. My name is Melvin the Moose. My apologies if I looked like a goof. I stumble and tumble wherever I go. Noise and destruction, it's all that I know. Oh goodness, look at that. He is huge. You see, I have strong antlers and I'm tall enough. But with poor sight, I'm always running into stuff. I can cross the river, no problem at all. But with my poor vision, I may slip and fall. Diggy was upset. He hung his head low, but he thanked Melvin and then turned to go. Melvin looked on, wishing he could do more, as Diggy went further into the outdoors. Diggy's never seen trees as big as these, and the plants and bugs, he didn't feel at ease. But Diggy needed some help, so he marched on. Though the further he went, the more his path was gone. Diggy came to a clearing and looked around. He saw something moving, so he made no sound. The creature was huge, at least 8 feet tall, the biggest he's seen. It looked like a wall. It had dark black hair, sharp teeth and claws. It was picking up trees without even a pause. The size and strength gave Diggy a scare, but then the beast stopped and started sniffing the air. Oh my goodness. I'm almost afraid. Oh, he's picking up a tree. The creature sniffed and snorted, and then turned his head. He stared right at Diggy. Oh no, Diggy said. He bounced right over. Diggy froze in dismay. He then bent down, now just inches away. Well, hello there, little one. I'm Billy the Bear. I'm terribly sorry if I gave you a scare. I was exercising by lifting the trees. I'm sure that was a fright. Forgive me, please. Oh, I like to exercise, but I can't lift a tree. Diggy opened his eyes and let out some sighs. Whew! And to his surprise, he saw the kindest eyes. Help me, help me. I've been lost for so long. Can you help me find my way back home? Diggy, my friend, I'm the strongest you'll find. I can lift any object, no matter the kind. Although I'm strong, there's one thing I can't do. I cannot swim, so I'm no help to you. Diggy nodded his head. He understood. He thanked the bear for doing what he could. Diggy said goodbye and headed further in, looking for another way to bring him home again. Oh, that bear is flexing his muscles. He's mighty nice. Diggy wandered through the woods. He kept moving about. He was thirsty and hungry. He felt worn out. As he sat to rest, he was filled with doubt, and then a single large tear fell down his snout. Hoo! Hoo! The sound came from a nearby limb. Diggy looked and saw eyes staring back at him. The two eyes were wide and completely yellow, yet Diggy felt comfort staring back at this fellow. Help me, I need to get home. I'm lost in the woods and terribly alone. The creature stepped forward into the light. The colors, the wings, it was definitely a sight. I'm Ollie the Owl. Do not be afraid. You feel all alone, but I'll give you aid. I can't help you cross. I'm just too small, but I can fly high and can see nearly all. It's amazing. Owls have such great eyesight. As Diggy hung his head, he told Ollie, "Thank you." But he was still lost and still didn't know what to do. My home is so far and the path is unknown. I've been lost for hours. I just feel so alone. Ollie shook his head and jumped from the limb. He flew towards Diggy and landed right next to him. You may be lost and the way home unknown, but one thing you're not, you are not alone. I wonder why Ollie has told him that. At that moment, the forest came alive as the animals walked into the light. The beaver, the moose, and even the bear. They were all huddled around. They were all right there. Aw, Diggy looked so happy. We may not be able to help you as one, but with us together, anything can be done. All of the animals smiled, making Diggy grin too. I have a plan. This is what we're going to do. I wonder what the animals are up to. Ollie took to the sky, way above the trees. With his great sight, he could see the way with ease. Diggy followed from the ground as fast as he could, leading the others through the dense wood. After a while, they broke into the light. They were back at the river. Diggy jumped with delight. But they had little time. The sunset just began. So they found the tallest tree and continued with the plan. I wonder what the rest of the plan is. Because they've gotten to the river. Bucky used his teeth to chop at the wood, while Melvin scraped the bark as best as he could. The moment was right, so Billy stepped in. He leaned on the tree, ready to begin. They're all working together. That's so great. Billy pushed and pushed with all of his might. The tree was huge. It definitely gave him a fight. But then the others started helping their friend, and that's when the tree began to descend. Oh, they did it. They all looked so happy since they worked together. Bam! Went the tree. The sound echoed all around. The tree laid across the river perfectly on the ground. Their plan had worked. The animals jumped to cheer, hugging one another as if friends for years. Diggy leapt on the tree. The new bridge was strong. He trotted across as if it was there all along. As he touched the other bank, he was so glad. He was going home to see his mom and dad. He does look very happy now. The last time we saw Diggy, he looked a little sad. Before he left, he turned around to say, and there were 4 smiles shining back his way, "Thank you, 4. You were all so kind. I'll never forget. You are all forever friends of mine." The 5 animals waved and went their own way, but they kept the lesson they had learned that day. No matter the animal, big or small, together we're better and can accomplish it all. So, what'd you think of the story, Miss Izzy?
I think that was amazing. It was such a really good story about how you can be afraid, but there are these people there that are willing to help you, are willing to take that chance with you. And at the end of it, you can make some great friends and go on a super awesome adventure.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It's everybody's included, and as long as you work together, you can really accomplish anything.
Most definitely. And I feel like this is also a very good warning against crossing rickety bridges. Don't feel like they're safe? Wouldn't take the chance on them, especially if they're missing pieces and they lead to a sketchy forest. That's just
Yeah,
me though.
I was a little scared for Diggy when he was going through the forest.
Oh, most definitely. And that can be a very intimidating space, especially if that's not where he's from, that's a completely new environment. But he was able to overcome that, and what was very nice was he met some friends that each had their own individual strengths that were able to help them once they played to that.
Yeah. So, Miss Izzy, would love to hear about the vocabulary that you have with us. So, I'm sure if our friends that are joining us, if they've been with us before, we try and go over some words and introduce Spanish vocabulary. Today, we're going to show those words to you and ask what you think that they might mean before we talk about them. How does that sound, Miss Izzy?
That sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm ready to try it.
All right, what is our first word?
Oh, hey there, love. Alrighty, so our very first word, is gonna be explorar.
All right, so on your screen, you have this word. Okay, and what do you think it might mean? I'll give you about 15
Oh,
seconds.
yes. Do, 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 do,
Oh, we've got a very
do,
smart audience,
do.
Miss Izzy. All
I choose to
right.
believe we have the smartest followers ever.
So about 83% of our audience says this word means to explore.
You guys are correct. Explorar means to explore, which was a pretty big concept in this book. Being able to go to those new places, discover what you don't know, and find different things that benefit you or increase your knowledge. Now, our friends, you guys probably were able to figure out that word if you've never heard it before, just by using those context clues, right? You were able to see a root in there, explore in explorar. So that's actually going to be super helpful whenever you're trying to figure out what a word might mean in almost any language, but especially Spanish.
Hey, that's good information to know. So, especially because I'm not a native Spanish speaker.
Well, these
This
tricks
is
can help you too, Miss Michelle.
this is a learning experience for me. So, what is our second word?
Our next word is going to be ansioso. Now, this is one of those really fun words that we sometimes give that can be masculine or feminine. So
All
the
right.
masculine is
Wait.
ansioso. Sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna put up the poll and see what our friends think before you go into telling us what this word actually means.
Now remember, looking at roots is definitely going to help you figure this one out too.
Oh, so it looks like our answers are a little bit split on this
Okay.
one. However, most people think that the word means anxious.
They are correct. So if
Ah,
you're ansocio or ansocia, you're feeling anxious about something. Now, do bear in mind that just like dialects and different languages around the world, depending where you are, this word might mean a different thing. So, for our purposes today, it does mean anxious. So, kind of like I was saying, this is also a masculine or feminine word. The masculine is going to end with the O, ansioso, and the feminine is going to end with an A, ansiosa.
so I have a question, Miss Izzy. How do you decide whether the word is masculine or feminine?
You're going to be looking at the noun, so whatever the word is describing. So Miss Michelle and I identify in the feminine, so we would be saying estoy ansiosa. We are anxious. Now, if I were to be talking about Diggy, who we're going to assume identifies in the masculine, he'd
He
be
does.
ansioso.
Okay.
Added
So
on
yeah,
pronouns.
he was very anxious going into the forest. All right. So our third word
Alrighty,
is,
this one is going to be a little tricky, guys. So it is amable.
all right. Let's see what our audience has to say. Okay, I think this one's a bit more challenging. So it is. So Miss Izzy, it is kind of split. We have
Okay.
33% of our audience saying helpful and 67% saying kind.
So this one, for our purposes, is actually going to mean kind. Um, we saw in the story that by all the animals being amable with Diggy, that they were actually able to get a great result together. They were able to figure out how to get him out of the forest, how to drop that tree, and it was them being amable that actually made them want to help out Diggy. So that kindness that we all need to show each other, especially when we see somebody going through a hard time.
All right, and our last word is
So this word is going to be juntos, and if you've tuned in with us before, you may have heard it before.
let's see. Okay. Oh, I think there's a good percentage of repeat offenders that we've got on story time today.
Yay! I'm always so happy to have you guys back. Makes me feel good.
Yeah. So I would say most of the audience has chosen together as the answer.
And you guys are all so brilliant. Yes, it is
Yay.
together. By doing everything juntos, these animals were able to get out of that forest, drop that tree, I'm pretty sure at some point the beaver will fix that bridge because he looks like a pretty good engineer. But yes, so the goal of this word is being juntos. So everyone stuck together, they figured out a game plan and they executed it all perfectly. Juntos.
Juntos, and I would say you and I work juntos all the time.
It.
So, all right. And then I saw somebody special peek into the screen. Do you want to share that person with us? Share that someone
Yes,
with us?
I would. So this, my friends, doo-doo-doo-doo, is Halo.
Oh,
She's
hello,
very sweet. Yeah.
Halo.
Say hi, Mama. So Halo
Oh,
here
she
is a
looks super sweet.
yeah, she's sweet, she's skittish. Takes her some time to warm up, but once she's there, she's an incredible lap dog.
So would
Um,
you say that she's a little bit anxious?
she's very ansiosa. She's actually a stray. So somebody found her and brought her into us. We don't know too much about her backstory, but she actually looks very well taken care of. So we are hoping that an owner comes in to be able to claim her. Um, but she's actually been great with staff. Once she gets comfortable, she enjoys being pet, she takes treats out of hand. She actually has been hanging out in offices to get her to warm up a little bit more. So she's done very well using her potty pad. She very, very much likes these lamb treats that I've been feeding her. And I feel that has a lot to do with the relationship building that we have going. She's about 5 years old, and from what we can tell, like I said, very well taken care of. She's not skinny, she's not overweight, she's actually really clean, and her teeth for a 5 year old are actually in pretty good condition.
So, how do we know that she's about 5 years old if we don't have much information on her background?
We actually take a look at teeth. We take a look at how worn down they are, which teeth have grown in or not. Kind of like adults, dogs have puppy teeth. So we know that if certain teeth are there or not there, that gives us an idea of how old they are. But we also take a look at how much plaque they have built up. For those of you wondering what plaque is, it's going to be that kind of yellow scum looking stuff that you see builds up on teeth. If you're not a fan of brushing your teeth, you might see it on your own teeth. But you will see it a lot more often on dogs because they're not that great at brushing, right? No thumbs. The older the dog, the more built up they have that plaque. So that's why teeth maintenance is actually super important in your personal pets, whether you give them things to chew on to clean those teeth, or you take them into the vet for routine cleaning. All of those go a very long way in letting them keep their original teeth so they don't fall out too early. But by us taking a look at how much buildup she has, which teeth she has, and the wear and tear, that gives us an estimate of about 5 years.
Okay. So, and did Halo come to us with a microchip?
Unfortunately, no. So if she had a microchip, that would have been super helpful because it'd have potential owner information. But because she's not chipped, we don't really have a starting point. We do have her listed on our website with all the information that we have about where she came from, when she came into the shelter, things like that. But still no hits. So we are hoping that if any of you know who might be missing a Parson Russell, you go ahead and let them know because Halo here is looking for a home.
She looks super, super sweet.
Yeah, good girl.
Yeah. So, we don't have any more questions from the audience, so I want to thank everyone for joining us for story time today as we read Diggy the Dog Explores Friendship by Adam Loveless. If you are interested in this book, you can find it on Amazon or look up lovelessletters.com on the internet and you'll be able to find it. Um, I had such a great time doing this today and being with everyone, and I hope you guys did as well. It was nice seeing you again, Miss Izzie.
Right back at you, Miss Michelle.
All
And
right.
by the way, you did amazing reading that story today.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Halo.